summer split. It has gone by quite quick. Quite a few best of threes, and we'll see if this one goes the long haul.
Yeah, no surprise here with the LeBlanc ban against Bjergsen. Syndra might also find her way onto the ban. I definitely do expect Elise following through to pair up with Zach as far as the junglers. Those have been the two most banned. And then Hanser played a bunch of Kennen top lane. Syndra, correct. Hanser played a bunch of Kennen in the top lane for split pushing. And even though people haven't been that happy with that pick, they don't really seem to enjoy watching it for some reason, it is very powerful and definitely a strategy that deserves respect. Immortals also giving that respect there, taking that ban away.
One final for TSM. They've shied away from somewhat of the Lulu Karma compositions, may find themselves banning one and picking only one.
Yeah, it's interesting now, right? Because the go-to used to be never give away Lulu. She got nerfed, plus with the rise of playmaking supports, not only Rakan, who had the spotlight yesterday, but Thresh is very big now again, and these are definitely some good Thresh players. So I hope that we do get to see more of those playmaking supports with lots of mobility, lots of crowd control come into play here. Shen, though, right off the bat, Immortals going to get some of that cross-map play going, and not to mention, he's actually quite good at holding his own in lane nowadays. We'll see if Hanser decides to go with some sort of split pusher to try and take advantage of the 1v1, or if they go tank to tank.
Something they did get a play on yesterday. Doublelift will take the Ashe back in. First surefire initiation, if you will. They may decide to go ahead and just lock in the support with that combination in the bot lane. Flame on the Shen did get a play on that already this split. Did quite well, has the Renekton and the Jarvan as well. So this is his a little bit more supporty side of play for Immortals in the top lane. Or a lock-in, it was left up for that first ban phase. And Hanser's going to have quite a fun time.
Yep, there's the answer to question number one. Hanser will most definitely take the split pusher into Shen. Fiora, everybody knows about the 2-item power spike, but if there's even jungler attention early to get this Fiora going, could definitely be a problem for Immortals. We'll have to take a look at how the jungle picks come through, because nobody looking like they want to lock one in early. There's definitely still a lot of options available. And it looks like it's just going to be Cody's son's Varus.
Yeah, both AD carries playing the other AD carry they've played besides Caitlyn, since it's banned out. The Varus for now, Cody's son, and Ashe's double.
I like how they hovered over the Rakan as well, just to get that in your mind, in case everybody wants to try their hand at it. I feel like that's one that you do need a little bit of extra time, and as I said on the analyst desk, not all Rakans have shown up equally as strong as Afro moves. Here we go, though. Smithy on his Lee Sin. Now, this is not typically a champion that people who just started watching competitive would associate with him, but if you remember way back to the days of, Vulcan eSports and Smithy in those days, Lee Sin was one of his premier champions. Doublelift himself is the guy who actually started calling Smithy Dandy Light. It was definitely a very big compliment at the time, Dandy being on Samsung, the best team.
Smithy's had his fair share of role playing too. Makes me think of all the other teams he's been in, AD carry and then other positions.
Yeah, but it really does look like, back on or switching over to Immortals here, Smithy, his Elise game. Lee Sin's right in that same vein. It looks like he really does want to create early plays, want to set up his laners for success early on. I think that is the correct style for jungle right now. Just power farming jungle. The rewards are just not there anymore. And we'll see the difference with junglers that really try and affect those lanes early on and get people like Pobelter going early. Speaking of Pobelter, Talia being banned away from Bjergsen. More mid lane focus here as Immortals drop 3 bans into that lane.
Might look like an RE game for Pobelter if they don't decide to ban it out. Gonna have to somehow stay away from all of this quick attack coming in from TSM that can hit pretty fast. We see the second ban being Tom Kench, something Ole brought out yesterday, also with that Lulu they still have to go for.
Yeah, that very well could be the case, as Orianna's probably the most blind pickable mid lane still left up right now with
still blind.
For so many of these bans here. You still have to worry a little bit about Fizz, and Fizz has really gained a lot of popularity lately as far as the assassin mid lane players have gone. But yeah, definitely Orianna highly prized. Would not be surprised if they decide to go with that one for Pobelta either. It's been one of his most successful champions as well.
Svenskeren going with the Viking. A little bit of lockdown already seen on the team. If he can run through that, it's pretty squishy backline so far to look at.
Yeah, right now, TSM, they've got a lot of crowd control coming from the bottom lane, so that frees up, top and jungle picks to be these DPS and bruiser champions. Already looking like they want to get the split push going. Olaf is one of the few that can go toe-to-toe with Lee Sin early on. Kha'Zix and whatnot would be other answers, but here we go. Olay Bard.
Used it quite well. A lot of what IMT was doing with their compositions yesterday was throw rotation. Olay was out of lane fast. They used the journeys well. They're going to lock in these again and hover the Ahri as the last pick.
All right, it is going to be a lot of pick potential here. Ahri plus Shen to have a little bit more confidence, and then that Bard to pick off people that are roaming around. TSM, what will Bergson run into this Ahri? Now, it's actually interesting. I talked to a lot of different mid laners about the various matchups. Mid lane Galio, though.
Wow.
Rising a lot in priority. Faker was happy to play it. And Bjergsen will be as well. There was just yesterday that front page Reddit post about a Bjergsen play on the Galio, outplaying Katarina. See if he can do the same to Pobelter here.
I believe it. It was on the internet, and I saw it.
And one of my favorite things about being able to have that last pick for your mid lane, to be able to have this kind of wild card of Galio, you're already showing this Fiora split push, and Galio in mid lane, there's so many options of, my favorite types of player are like, mid laners trailing the other split pusher, or Galio ulting from mid lane to go help Hauntzer if Hauntzer's attracting too much attention. Really like the way that this TSM lineup has rounded out, but again, Immortals. Smithy's gotten that Lee Sin for the early playmaking possibilities. If he can get Pobelta rolling on this assassin, they might be able to get this Shen composition off the ground.
All right, you see the comps as we load into game. Hashtag IMT win, hashtag TSM win. Keeping an eye basically everywhere this game, as we would. We're going to be watching it from the skies above, but that bot lane. Doublelift singing the praises of Cody and Ole recently here in the summer split, and now back on TSM trying to make his mark in the bot lane with Biofrost. We'll see how these two match up. Both teams coming in with the victory here to start off the split. We'll see who gives each other the first loss. Silence over the crowd.
Question number 1. How many Doran shields will be purchased in this game? Over 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4. One more. We have a complete selection now. Obviously, everybody's well aware of the current state of the power of this starting item. Smithy almost left the fountain without jungle items, but heads back very quickly. And Immortals actually coming out with a bit of an early game rush here. They're looking to capitalize on, Zyra's tendency to look for seeds far up in the lane, basically. So often we'll see the Zyra position far up to try and get those seeds to spawn early up in the lane phase for extra lane power. But Biofrost not going to play it too dangerously. Stays by his turret, and he will not be caught.
Got a little too antsy.
Meanwhile, TSM take this opportunity while everyone is distracted bottom lane. Hauntzer moves into the blue buff, gets that ward early down onto the blue buff, so they will assume that Smithy is starting on Raptors if they don't see him over there, which would be very weird if they did.
Minions have spawned.
Meanwhile, Galio as well as Olaf have decent AoE in level 1 and could get off to a very quick jungle clear. It looks like Svenskeren's just going to go with the solo start here on his blue. Olaf very famously loves to get low in the jungle. No problem doing his own camp. Doesn't need any sort of leash. Meanwhile, Pobelter helps out Smithy, and we'll see if Smithy can return the favor in that mid lane.
Definitely going to be a push war between these two once Bjergsen get a little bit of ability power behind himself is just easy as you see him. Winds of War to the back line, go up and punch the front, and you basically get the wave pushed in.
Yep, Galio, one of the biggest strengths there. And in addition to building triple Dorans into tank items, he's also got plenty of wave clear with just that tiny bit of AP. Ooh, that's high value there. You always want to get the Winds of War onto minions plus harassment if you can do it. Hanser takes a bit of extra damage here in the trade, but he's got control of the minion wave. His focus is on the minions and pushing them up now. They did, by the way, get a little bit of extra information on Smithy, because Smithy went straight Raptors over to blue, and the Hawkshot does see that the blue has just been taken, so Hanser should know that he needs to ward fairly quickly.
Svenskeren on his top side as well. Usually we get mismatched junglers, but it may actually be a meetup.
Hanser actually doesn't take that info. He doesn't ward quickly, and now Smithy
Gone up quite far. Riposte is down from the last attack. The slow is there. He's going to flash forward for the next few. Brings it up. It's first blood. Going over to Immortals Smithy.
Oh, Hanser not going to respect that the blue buff was cleared. Smithy heads right up there with a very quick route. Raptors blue into Gromp and a very easy blast cone plant for the gank. First blood going over to Immortals. Let's take another look here. The reason Smithy goes for the flash is guarantee no escape for Hanser, no possible way for him to dodge the Q, no possible way to escape. That's why Hanser holds onto his flash, so luckily for him, at least he does not blow his summoner there as well. Svenskeren hanging around here actually probably won't gain them too much. Flame has no reason to play super aggressively at this point.
A sub 3-minute gank, pulling Hanser off guard. Teleport back to lane, Flame as well. And now towards the mid lane, Svenskeren looking to make a move onto Pobelter. Definitely a flash blown if they can get the range here. There's the taunt from the Durand, and there's the flash. One last Reckoning swing, the charm to come in as well to give Svenskeren a few turret shots.
Flash down on Pobelter, and Ahri does not have that safety until you get to level 6, so gonna have to be a little bit more cautious, and Bjergsen should be able to control the wave now very easily, even from this point on. And now that's a high value gank because Bjergsen had already used his teleports to get back to lane. So now he can just retain lane pressure here, whereas Pobelter is going to need to go back to the fountain, and he's going to lose off at least one minion wave and give time for Bjergsen to either go for a roam play or go for that recall again. Pobelter does stick around as Smithy's come over to try and help him hold this wave and hopefully not lose out on too much CS.
Bit of bot side love from Svenskeren as well. He's going to be meeting Smithy in just a second on this Raptor camp. Ward in from Svenskeren with the help of Bjergsen, and now they're starting to pressure what they've done to Pobelter in the mid lane.
Yeah, this is all domino effect from the mid lane. Olay comes up with the flash!
Ooh, flash miss on the Cosmic Binding. They may be able to get the damage on to Smithy, but they turn it around and Svenskeren melts.
That Olay bard! Uh-oh, Smithy's not out of the water!
Bjergsen feels like he can pick one up. That's the red buff. That's the lockdown on Olay. Can Biofrost and Doublelift make it? Journey gets him out just in time, but with the safety of Doublelift and Biofrost on a faster roam, and Cody's son staying 1 for 1.
Yeah, pretty quick here. And with that extra CS advantage, TSM actually almost evens up the gold. Top side is where they really want more of it to come through, though. And Hanser has been able to stabilize. Uh-oh. Root here lands on a Cody.
Flash blown becomes very difficult when you start to mismatch the backs of your bot lane. And we'll see the roam starting here from Olay.
Yeah, even though they have that ward in the tri-bush, and as soon as Sven sees Olay, he starts running away. There's a very nice magical journey there from Olay. Gets up there very quickly and allows them to get that kill. Meanwhile, Bjergsen takes things into his own hands. Didn't actually have to flash there. The last tick on Winds of War got the kill. But very close as Smithy was almost out of the area, and Bjergsen wanted to make sure he got it.
Unfortunate too, with Pobelter being so low, he kind of had to watch the entire time from just behind Raptor Pit.
Yeah.
Would have loved to participate in that.
That's why, this is the reason why TSM were forcing the issue around mid lane.
Yeah.
You know, because of the success of that gank, it gave Bjergsen control of the wave, and they made the call as a team, you know, to bring Svenskeren in for this counter jungle. But the surprise card of the Bard Roam caught them off guard. Meanwhile, down bottom lane, though, there's a lot of extra minions here for the TSM bottom lane to pick up. If they can see us under their turret without this pressure from Smithy, who's roaming through the jungle, then they should actually get a lead for themselves. And Smithy doesn't go for the bottom lane pressure. Just goes for that blue steal instead.
Nice. Not terrible for Bjergsen. He'd still love to have it. Winds of War, very powerful at clearing. He's going to start heading towards the top side so they can get vision.
Ooh.
With this leave of lane, they may want something bought for Immortals.
And it's important that Bjergsen roam topside. The range on Galio ultimate wouldn't be able to reach until he roams back down to this bottom side. He's made it back to his mid lane and could come, so Smithy has to be a little bit careful.
Mid lane sees 2 as well. That's going to be the rotation from Svenskeren all the way down. So Smithy has to find a smart path out. They have the wards to do so. And Flame and Haunter start going back and forth in the top side.
Yep, Haunter trying to just scale up here versus the Shen. Have to keep in mind that the Stand United will come in quicker than the teleport would, even though both of them technically could join the bottom fight. Big advantage, though, would be the Galio, and that's one of the things about mid lane Galio. You know, flexibility of using your ult either to the top side or bottom side of the map. Meanwhile, Pobelter has gone for that Ignite with the Ahri, looking for those pick kills.
Taking stock around the maps, yes. Pretty even, as it were. Svenskeren focusing a lot of the Krugs and the Raptors. As you see his CS a little bit higher as they're even, though at level 6. Bit of a grand challenge onto Flame. It looks like he'll back off now. Those teleports are back up, so if these guys need to try and make a play off a back, they still can try to.
Yeah, good taunt away there from Flame. Pretty much times out the entire ultimate there from Haunter. Doesn't get too much value off of it. Little bit of deep wards here. Are going to see the roam top. You know, the Bard roam up top side has been seen by the ward already, and so has Smithy. So TSM know there are 3 members from Immortals up on top side. And they have the possibility of overloading on bottom. Problem is Svenskeren also on a ward, so everybody just playing cautiously right now with so much mixed vision.
A lot of pings going down onto Cody-san right now. Directional pings, that is. Svenskeren will stay in the lane for now, and Bjergsen's just hovering enough to get that ult in.
Yeah, and you know, with they knew he didn't have flash, and he was up against the wall, but Double just misses it. A little bit wide.
The crowd felt that one too.
Yeah, there was not much space that he left between the arrow and the wall, but just enough. And Cody-san sidesteps.
Good push in the top lane here for Flame. Haunter and Svenskeren will be buddy-buddy for a moment, but he might just be on Krugs for too long. This gets pushed out by the TMS. Bjergsen backs as well. Pobelter uses this time to get some wards forward, and the first few kills have kind of just leveled out now. Nobody really has a gigantic... Nice little play by Haunter. Nobody has a gigantic lead. Still waiting for that first turret play to come through.
Yeah, I mean, you can... Ooh, actually...
This will help.
This will definitely help a first turret play. There are pings already going down, though. And while the Rift Arrow doesn't do as much damage, and it is very easily soloable if you're not interrupted, if there's any sort of contest, and Svenskeren is coming to contest, then it becomes very dangerous.
Going for a walk.
Yeah, not going to be the case, especially since this TSM composition, you know, if Ash Arrow comes back off of cooldown, you know, the Ash Arrow into an Olaf charging forward with Galio ultimate on top of him is a very difficult engage to deal with. So Immortals have to be very careful about how they choose their battles. Haunter, though!
2 to 3 shots onto Haunter, trying to deliver a back riposte as well. He can do it for only so long. Smithy once again to the top lane for a combo onto Haunter.
Haunter's been playing this Fiora pretty risky up on the top side during the moments where he doesn't have any vision. Meanwhile, mid lane, Bard roams up!
Second time Ole's been doing these magical journeys, and will it be magical for Immortals? The fist back from Bjergsen to try and buy some time. Svenskeren can't enter the fight with him in a 4-man on mid instantly after an engaged top.
Wow,
who would have expected it?
Yeah, also didn't expect them to also use the Stand United, but Flame comes in as well. Meanwhile, what will TSM do after so many resources have been allocated towards that mid lane. They're trying to push them off bottom turrets. TSM wants to get, first turret bonus, but Immortals very quickly back into position, back to defending. Calling down Svenskeren as well to the bottom side. They still want to pressure it. Bjergsen's technically still has ultimate, but it's pretty far away.
Pressure from Smithy just on the left. But an interesting bot lane, as we said, we'd keep an eye on it. Nice damage from the Meeps on Ole.
Oh.
Dodges with the journey. Tempered Fate splits the team into 3, but it's not really going to give any positioning to Immortals. And TSM is ready to go right back at it with Bjergsen on the way down.
Yeah, Bjergsen's close enough to ult now, so they have to give him room. Svenskeren's going for it.
He's trying to get right in on a Cody's son. Expect to see that grand entrance quite soon. And they say, no, we'll take the turret, we'll take the advantage, and we'll just push up. Pobelter is out of lane right now. We don't know where he is.
Objective focus here. First turret, as well as being able to retreat and reset it before going for a dragon. They can actually start up another fight there. Cody's son does have his flash back off of cooldown, so it's possible for them to flash the next arrow that comes up, even if TSM decide to focus that duo lane. Meanwhile, Hanser's getting low again, and Smithy's heading up through the jungle past wards though, so TSM should, again, know that he's coming.
Yeah, Biofrost already en route. To make sure that doesn't happen, he may get seen out by the Scryer's Bloom, and he does. So that's actually very good for Flame. The team actually just pings him and says, be careful in that side of the map. Doublelift's going to be farming bot. Once they see him, there may be pick potential from this team if the rest is on that top side. Pobelter's still getting pushed in mid, though.
Really liking the early game so far from Immortals, specifically Smithy's jungle path as well as Ole on the Bard. But this dive is definitely going to be aborted. No!
Possibly they didn't know Ole was on the back there. These guys are routing around everywhere, but it is Biofrost as well, right behind the team. Good dodge.
Cody's son lands his ultimate.
Heroes exit.
Nowhere to...
And it might be in the wrong spot. Gets the blast over.
Oh!
And he's going to be safe. Flashes for a little extra room. The blind charm into Orb of Deception coming through.
The arrow from downtown is coming, but will they even do anything off of it?
Oh, just to the left, the team's alerted. Oh, Hanser not going to hit him as he walks by the friendly arrow. And Doublelift had time in the bot lane with TSM's focus towards the top. There's been a lot of skirmish, but Doublelift has focus.
Yeah, remember that Cody's son roamed up to help out with that. So that was a bit of a scramble, but it was very successful for TSM to be able to get out of that without losing a member, considering Doublelift pushed 3 waves into the bottom turret, got half of that second turret's health, and currently is stealing away red buff by himself. But he was last seen by this ward, so they think he's still in there.
Chain of Corruption halfway down, a piercing arrow, Tempered Fate dodge into a flash. He is not leaving anything to chance.
Yeah, so we'll have to see if he's punished for using his flash to steal this red. Ole wants to make him pay for it.
I think it's just wards now. It's almost when is too far, but they know when is too far. Top lane is kind of thwarted out by Flame. You see Fiora, Hanser, and Svenskeren trying to get a little bit back off of not a lost lane. Still pretty even in CS, but Flame going to be quite big in the front line of these fights.
Yeah, the extra kills for Immortals are nice on Hanser, but as you said, Fiora's focus is getting her farm so she can get to her 2-item spike. Ravenous completed is definitely beneficial, but would really need the extra move speed and armor shred coming through from Black Cleaver as well before he really starts to take off. Dragon control right now being set up by Immortals. Shen, Stand United is available. It's post level 11, so that's level 2. Doublelift has the arrow.
Nice Winds of War on 3 members. They don't have to stay in it too long, though, as Immortals gets away. I think Smithy has quite a bit of gold, 1,300 to spend right now, which would be some power to use in this fight. Looks like they're still going to stay to at least stop a dragon from happening.
Yeah, Immortals, while they do have a nice gold lead right now, they're still very cautious considering the power of that engage we talked about with TSM. If they use the Ash Arrow into the Olaf and Galio, could be very threatening. Flame, though, is just taking it to Hanser right now. Back against the wall to try and protect him.
But when you take a fight like that, you got to expect more is going to be coming. Another challenger enters the fight. It's Pobelter looking for the kill. Hanser's been and diving. One last auto from Pobelter as they have to go way under the turret for that one.
Bjergsen is roaming up for the 2v1, but Bard is on his trail.
No flashes there to connect. He decides to turn around. And they're going to say, let's actually take out Ola. He's got himself in a bad spot. Cosmic binding back against Bjergsen. The wall, and he's stunned. Justice Fist will not work, but it does get the tempered fade out. Who's buying more time is the question. Back into the fight comes Xmithy. He's forced to flash out. Stand United onto him as well, as both teams don't like the situation. They back off.
Yeah, actually, Immortals using a lot there to re-engage onto a Galio. Bjergsen right now is very tanky after just getting the Spirit Visage completed. So they do burn the Stand United for very little gain there. Pretty much nothing. Take another look at this. Ooh, that was a sneaky little taunt there that snagged him as he was passing through. My favorite part of this actually though is the hold on the charm by Pobelter until he gets the point blank, right? You see the riposte come out, and then right when he passes by him for the point blank charm, that is what ensures this kill. Sticks around for the last auto and is able to complete it before Bjergsen gets in range to use his Galio ultimate.
They have to act fast. This is definitely down in Immortals we saw last split as well.
Yeah.
Continuously pulling the trigger, there'd be a little hesitation, and the other team would collapse.
And this is why we keep talking about their, communication, and it just looks like they've improved their decisiveness and their playmaking so much. That's really the biggest change for this squad. Continuing to hold this lead over TSM, almost 20 minutes into the game. So Rift Herald, you only have another minute to take it, and it looks like TSM want to grab it before he expires. Sven starts it up. Should be an easy take for themselves. See if Smithy and Pobelter actually have anything to say about this. They're roaming over right now casually.
Flame as well, just off on the left wing.
All right,
that was
casual.
It is quite casual for what we're seeing. Nobody's even throwing out any abilities. Biofrost may be the first to set up these plants. All right, Bjergsen wants a hit. Durant taunt onto Flame. That's going to start the fight. Here comes the TP in from Hanser, and it looks like he may... Oh, he's not going to cancel that, actually. He had quite a bot lane to farm out, and they're just going to go ahead and maybe put some pressure mid.
Yeah, TSM definitely want to back off of that one. Even though Pobelter missed that charm, he still got a big chunk onto Biofrost. And Zyra at this stage in the game very easily, 100%ed if that charm does land. So TSM going to hold on to their cooldowns and wait for another fight. Cloud Drake's still up, but I feel like they'd rather have Rift Herald. There's so much standing gold with the outer turrets still up in this game. Only one turret down for each team. If you get Rift Herald right now, there's so many possibilities of cross map plays or trying to set up a team fight and getting multiple rewards if you're able to win that.
Hanser back to get a pink board before he gets to lane. His teleport down, Flame, Stand United, teleport up for a possible next play.
1945, Rift Herald back to the Void, and Baron takes his place, or her place.
Nice. And just that small gold lead. Right now, it's the outer turrets. One big fight, and I feel like you get two turrets at this point. It's almost like the prize grows. If the outer turrets are up later in the game, you get a big influx of gold once this one fight hits. A little bit of a skirmish here to the top side. Ole, more than any other support, I see finding himself in these little fights that he's getting out of for now. But once people start to figure it out, it might be a little bit harder for him to make those moves.
He definitely plays that aggressive roaming Bard very well. He's been able to create some stuff for Immortals early on in conjunction with Smithy.
Very close.
You can tell Immortals, though, even with this lead, I know they're kind of poking the bear right now. As TSM's five-man squad is very formidable as far as the team fighting goes. If they can nail down someone. Pobelter right now in mid lane. It's a little bit of a harassment, but he's able to hold on to his ultimate.
Good push. Seems like they might use this for a little bit of vision control and adding a bit more cover. Sweepers are down for right now, so it's actually a scary move. You see power in numbers right now for the team as they head towards this top side.
Yeah,
will be met.
I actually like the strategy Immortals are going for here, trying to keep TSM spread out. You know, Pobelter's pressure is keeping Bjergsen just out of Galio ultimate range, but he's roaming up now. They're threatening this Olaf dive. As soon as he gets halfway, though, through the river, Immortals back off because they know the Galio ultimate coming in would be very scary. Doublelift's Ash Arrow is almost back off cooldown, and it's difficult to dodge both of those.
Interesting watching Pobelter match that roam as well, but now he starts to go down. Bjergsen's going to follow. That's not a chance for Bjergsen to go top, so we make it a 2v2 here in the bot.
Oh, there's the ultimate, but Pobelter roams down as well.
On that ward, they know what's coming as well.
I have to say, I mean, he's done a good job of either staying next to Bjergsen to threaten the charm. Uh-oh.
Whoa, Smithy going hard, kicks him into the T. Svenskaren's got a Ragnarok immediately, hoping there was enough from Bjergsen, but he just used the alt bot.
Svenskaren too slow there with his ultimate. He doesn't respect Smithy. Smithy goes for the flash play, instantly gets him, no reaction, and with a late Ragnarok, he still got kicked in. It didn't matter. As far as escaping, Immortals again, just so quick with their execution. Gain some more advantages.
Snap Judgment 6-1 now. A 3,000 gold lead as they extend it, and finally Cloud Drake finds some friends. They're going to be taken down on the side of Immortals.
My goodness, I mean, so many people in the Aussies, and we're talking about the Smithy and Dardoch trade, and it seemed like almost everybody just assumed CLG won that trade, and the Dardoch end was better, but Smithy on Immortals has looked just so good. Much better than last split. And again, with a very crisp play there, able to extend that lead and add some extra speed to their team with the Cloud Drake.
I mean, he did say he's a team that he could put a voice to. There's a lot of players on the team that can already make these plays, make these moves. They just have someone make that definitive, where to make those plays and make those moves.
Yeah. All that being said, I still think Svenskaren should have respected Smithy and and Ragnarok early.
Absolutely.
So he doesn't get kicked in. All right, another Ash Arrow down too, though. Doublelift just using that. So TSM, they still have to play around those windows. As much as we keep talking up this big, AoE engage that they have with Ash Arrow into the Olaf and Galio plus Zyra, they keep missing Ash Arrows. It's not going to be able to hold anyone in place long enough to make it happen. And Immortals have done a very good job of playing the map here.
See that turret in mid go down. As we said, it was going to be a big fight, and structures were going to start falling. Immortals now have a much easier time getting into the jungle. Svenskaren just getting a ward over the wall. He just got back up and used his Ragnarok again. Going to be tough for anything initiation side from TSM. Grasping Roots as Biofrost tries to deliver as much damage as he can before IMT gets out.
Okay, so if... Oh! Biofrost takes a bit of damage there as Ole sneakily gets back out.
That's what I said, we're going to rename him Trolle.
All right, though.
Everywhere.
For TSM, they do have a little bit of good news here. Haunter has gotten to that 2-item set on Fiora. He's continued to farm despite his 3 deaths. Scaling up here. Does have the AoE for pushing the wave as well as the extra speed now. And it's getting a little bit worrisome for Flame because even though, they got a lot of kills on a Haunter, Flame didn't get any of the kill credit. Smithy, though, is coming down to try and keep Haunter honest still.
I like that. Keep him honest. Because this very well could turn into a 2v1 situation where Haunter comes out with an outplay.
Yeah, you can definitely see how the confidence is rising, though.
TSM control over the Baron pit. And the Smithy and the team say, all right, we'll make sure mid has to be respected as they start to route it down. Tempered Fate, Biofrost could be the hit. They have to focus, though, as he is now the back line. And a big hit onto Smithy. He's going to go down first with the focus of TSM. They get caught, but yeah, Svenskaren finds himself falling as well. Pobelter still in a spot to try and push the lane / get a pick. He's not fully joining the team yet.
Ooh, yeah, it is interesting because while Flame tried to stand united into the fight, Smithy died before it completed, so that means that Flame still gets the push on the bottom side. And, Immortals do have slight wave advantage here, but as we said, Haunter now with red buff, definitely way more scary for Flame to deal with in a 1 versus 1. Let's take a look at this as Smithy actually, This time around, he goes in right on Svenskeren and kicks him super early. Looks like they kind of wanted to abort the mission, right? They were hoping that they had more focus fire and more of a man advantage, but Belter still ends up finishing that kill onto Svenskeren, and just ends up being that little bit of a gold trade. No objectives afterwards. All right, definitely going to really put more emphasis on their extra warding here, because Immortals, they'd like to make that play again, but with the extra vision, so they can dodge things like the Ash Arrow. Bjergsen at least now, no flash available on the Galio, so it makes Galio's initiation so much more telegraphed, and he's a little bit slow with a lot of his animations. So Bjergsen's time now is supposed to be getting creative, right? Finding a bush to come out from our... Oh, goodness!
I blinked.
Belter trails the split push, immediately moves in to take down Hanser, and
you can see how confident now Immortals becomes. Obviously, Svenskeren has to back due to safety, but Ole even confident enough to just keep chipping away, getting himself into trouble at some point there. The team's going to be behind him soon. The split push from the bot by Flame has not ended yet, and TSM's going to have to figure out how to call the audible here.
Yeah, this is Immortals' time to shine. The split pusher is dead. Hanser doesn't have teleport either, so they're going to 5-man the Baron. Brute force here. Sven does have his ult. He could run in for a smite steal.
Ghost isn't up. He would be walked in, but like you said, ult is there, so it won't really matter.
Oh, Bjerg!
He comes at Bjergsen, hardly taking any damage, but delivering across 3 members of Immortals. The front end burst is too much for Immortals to handle. On the backside, Flame is going to be there, but TSM doesn't want the fight anymore. They're going for the objective.
Hanser is back up. They would take a lot of damage on Baron. They're going to force it right now.
Tempered Fate, great job on the double lift. That stops a good amount of damage onto the Baron, but will it be enough to stop them from wanting it?
Hanser's almost there, so that's a pretty big threat, but it looks like Cody Sun and Flame want to take it.
Ole's an instant kill if Hanser's over the wall. You can see his positioning to dash over, but he uses it to Baron. Cody Sun trying to lock one down. Flame goes in for the last hit on the team. Flame gets Biofrost. 20 or 2,000 health on Baron. Double kill for Flame. Ole goes in. He dies. Hanser's going off. Baron gets taken by Bjergsen, and TSM are looking to clean up the fight.
Cody Sun's got nowhere to run, and Hanser should be able to hunt him down here if you're with the extra Q range, but Cody Sun's got the Cloud Drake, and he's on the run. He can go for the execute. He's got the blast code. He's gonna make it.
Oh, the volley coming in from double lift. Not gonna be in range. They're cross lane now. Is he actually gonna? He can't try to get out.
He better
there
go
we go.
for the execute.
He was going for the long execute. They know the time was up a bit ago. Didn't want to chance it. Pobelt just stopping out mid, but what a fight back and forth. TSM with Baron.
Yeah, exactly. We keep cautioning against this TSM AoE team fight. They have so many big tools, and with the Immortals here grouped up inside the Baron pit, Bjergsen, we said he had to get creative. He got creative. Around the backside, Smithy even helps him in. Oh my God, Smithy delivers the dash that Bjergsen was lacking. AoE taunts the entire team. What a betrayal. Here we go, though. There's the escape as the rest of Immortals try and get out afterwards, and you know how that one played out. Oh, no. I didn't even catch that part, but...
Feels good for Bjergsen.
Bjergsen got some help in getting creative there.
It's been so quick. Sometimes you don't think enough. I can kick him, but should I kick him? It's always the question in the end.
Answer for that one, nah.
Do not kick. Rewind. So a big surge for TSM in a game where, interestingly enough, seeing them backs against their walls for the beginning, holding off Immortals plays after they had crushed down the first 2 turrets, but now it's back to even here. TSM grabbing up some second tiers for themselves. Does it once again go back into a full fight? Red buff goes over to Svenskeren, and it looks like they're going to back off. Top push Hanser is respected here by Flame.
Oh my goodness, this might be remembered as one of the biggest betrayals of this North American split, because now with Baron buff, that gave TSM so much room back into this game. The gold lead has shrunk to just 1,000, and TSM still with the Baron buff are pushing in for extra gold.
Whoops.
Belter, though, finds the assassination and wants another!
Oh, they're on a double lift now. Somebody stayed a little too long to play. Flame's on a double lift. The kite's there, though. He knows he can't reach it, and he's almost trying to get back and forth. Double lift should be able to walk out of this one alive, but you still have to remember Hanser has top lane to himself. That brought Flame by.
Olay still on the case here with Bard trailing double lift. He's gonna make him run all the way back. Does he magical journey for the 1v1?
He's got enough damage with the deep change. Makes him cleanse it out. No flash. Ignite's already off. Double lift.
One more journey. Olay is just tenacious
there.
on the
going
bar.
to right? Is he going to left? He's got base gate. But like you said, wasting his time. Top lane gets taken down as Hanser does a little bit more work off the ball on the other side of the map. And slowly, TSM does what they do best and bring it to late game if they don't have the lead and find a major fight where they can run it down mid.
Yeah, Gold brought almost back to even despite Pobelter's work here, getting the assassination onto Biofrost. Just runs right into him and then uses the next charges here to go straight for double lift. With the Shen stand united, they secure at least one kill. They know they're gonna get this. Double lift has to use both summoners or that would have been a double. So big ups there for Pobelter, taking matters into his own hands.
There's a Guardian Angel now for Hanser. He becomes much more formidable. We'll just have to wait a little bit until he gets pushed up back to the top. TSM will organize that to happen basically at the same time with the rest of the waves. So they're adding that pressure for Hanser towards a different lane. Good wards here from Immortals. Setting up with that Tempered Fate has been something they continuously go on. Olay on the side. Doesn't look like they want it just yet. They are waiting for Stand United if they were to get into a fight.
All right, Hanser now has GA and Hexdrinker on top of his core builds, and the split push Fiora has made it to the late game. TSM can rely on that for a guaranteed one lane of pressure. He still has to keep in mind, you know, Pobelter's roaming and the possibility of that Ahri trailing in for another kill. That's why that deep ward they just pinged out there you see by top lane, important, because Pobelter was going for the same play, and Hanser had to back off. Sven is wrapping around.
Oh, it's the pinch in. Double lift is taken down immediately. Pobelter's trying to dash out. Svenskeren is charging and chasing the dashes.
Oh!
And that's going to be the Guardian Angel down on Hanser. Flash is already down, so he is stuck in his spot if he can't dash away. Flame picks up that kill, and the rest of the fight was just a ride for TSM as they were chasing too much.
Pobelter is insane, man. He gets there with the flash, takes down the priority target. Double lift is dead, then kites out Hanser, even with the ultimate up. That was actually incredible, and Immortals are looking to capitalize off of it.
Straight down the mid lane. Bjergsen off to the left, still has time to back, but he'll home guard up to this inhibitor turret. If they can get Cody Sun on it, that's the damage they need. Olay and Xmithy already on the other side. This is going to be the kill as well on the Svenskeren. And now they're on the inhibitor turret, one after the other. TSM trying to guard alone, and they go down 15-6. Now spreading the gold lead a little bit more to 3K. Immortals is going to make it out through the journey to Pobelter, already pushing the bot lane. This was all the way from their second tier as Immortals has been working this after that mid fight.
So much taken after that fight. I kind of want to see the replay of it, you know, to see if there was extra help from Olay setting it up. Regardless, though, Immortals get one inhibitor, multiple turrets, and they're not done yet.
They can't even push by it. The Winds of War is only doing so much to the front line. Biofrost half health after only a few spells hitting in from Pobelter, and they are out. So much action being taken on top of action from Immortals here. They want more, even if they're getting something.
Yeah, we definitely got to see that one again. Immortals get a pretty easy reset after the advantages, too. All right, let's take a look at it, because TSM are planning the flank. So they have Svenskeren coming around, and it is Olay, sets it up really perfectly with the Bard ult again, and the timing for Pobelter's charm, just as the Bard ultimate wears off. Both of those guys deserve the credits. Whoa. And then the kite here lands the charm at the last seconds onto Hanser. Man, Olay's Bard, early game, so much power from him, creating plays around the map, all the escapes that you talked about as well from him, really taking matters into his own hands.
It's one of those where you see the guy trying to push the champion and himself to the limit of what they can do and get out with 100 HP each time. It's so much fun to watch. Like we said, this is an exciting squad to watch this summer split from Immortals as they take much more action. and take it into their own hands. 4,000 gold. Is there all right with what's going down on the bot side? If they can drop the members of TSM, it doesn't matter if a few have the Drake and Bjergsen is in. This happened before. The taunt almost cannot, they can't burn through Bjergsen after that. And now up to the hero's charge, gets himself back down to help the team. But that is Hanser going down. Svenskeren as well. Even with Bjergsen being the initial focus, Immortals still has the time, the strategy, and orchestrate himself around the fight.
Yeah, he has to use Mercurial to get out of there, but Immortals still marching towards the end of the game. Olay has another great initiation, just barely catches Bio on the edge of that ultimate, and that's gonna be it.
And they say it's our game to be played. You can go for Dragon, we're gonna go for the fights. It will give us the Nexus. And Immortals seeing a few steps ahead. Immortals taking game 1 over TSM.
Whoa, look at that. Immortals do what Cloud9 could not, taking game number 1 here in their series versus TSM. What outstanding performances from multiple members on this team. Flame in the top side, combining with Smithy for that first blood.
Yep.
Then we've got the roams from Olay, Pobelter on the Ahri. Whew.
Incrementally, too.
Look like they're a completely different team.
Absolutely. They didn't have to take down Flame a bunch. They took down Flame a few times, then they made sure they focused on other parts of the map. They made sure that Bjergsen's roams weren't getting off to too much. And Olay as well, helping out. It was like having the power of Xmithie somewhere else in the jungle, and they really just were able to catapult.
They drafted the extra mobility, but had to work around the stronger team fighting of TSM, and they used that mobility so well. Lots of picks.
Absolutely ridiculous for game 1. For more on that Immortals win, let's send it down to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Riv. Pick City. Yeah, what we had there, referring to Kobe's comment there at the end. I mean, for Immortals, hey, a huge victory pickup here over TSM, who, you know, kind of trounced C9 just yesterday. But let's look at how they did it, because again, when we were looking at that trade between Xmithie and Dardoch, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, Immortals is losing a massive playmaker. Well, guess what? Xmithie still has the ability to make stuff happen in the early game. I think people kind of forget that on CLG, he still was the pretty big impetus for early advantages for that squad.
Right, so early on, they take the Shen first pick. You know there's going to be some counter picks coming in. TSM goes with Fiora, and it's very important to try and hold that Fiora down, assuming that there's not something else that's more important to be snowballing somewhere else. So IMC have this game plan of attacking TSM with Hanser, making sure that Fiora doesn't get this massive advantage, and then it becomes harder to play the mid-late game out when you don't have as much pressure as you're expecting to have. And these angles were really good. The first gank by Xmithie was well timed. The second one, just Flame starting out with what seems like a normal trade, and then Smithy takes that blast cone over the second time for another kill.
Yeah, so a couple early kills going over to the side of Immortals, and I would say that, hey, those two clips that we just saw are clips that we would have seen in spring with Dardoch, right? You just change the nameplate, throw Dardoch in there, same stuff happens. The difference is what comes following that. We go to the mid lane and we look at a play set up by all 5 members of Immortals. This is true teamwork here coming out of the squad, and I think part of it is because it's in service of getting Pobelter ahead. We have an objective of making sure that our true carries get ahead, and it's not about Xmithie in the jungle.
And that's a big thing because, you know, last season there was still some friction, obviously, between Pobelter and Dardoch. You had heard it in some of the videos that they released. And the team, whenever you have a little bit of a friction in your team, not everyone's willing to make this play, but when you have a good team environment, you want to go the extra step for your teammate. You want to get him kills. You want to get him ahead. So you see a huge 4-man roam onto Bjergsen. We talk about holding down the Fiora. Well, hold down the Galio as well, and suddenly this kind of scary global split push comp is not really getting online at all.
Exactly. Smithy helps Flame. Flame helps Pobelter. Of course,
Ole's moving around the map the whole time.
Look, and this goes back to what we were talking about at the beginning of the day. Playmaking supports, and I'm very excited to see which teams take advantage of them and which teams don't. Because, of course, Karma and Lulu are still being played. And so I really think that some of the teams that are going to begin to separate themselves is going to be entirely on their support players' shoulders, right? You're looking at people like Big, who is playing playmakers. Well, who knows what that'll do for that squad? Just like Olay is stepping up.
Similarly with Biofrost, we haven't really seen him in a playmaking meta so far. Since he's joined the league, it's mostly been Karma, Lulu, Zyra, these kinds of things. So he might be a player that you have to keep your eye on as, oh my god, maybe this meta isn't good for him, whereas we're talking about all the ones it is good for right now.
Yeah, you will remember that he's played Bard and has a good clutch Bard ultimate.
He has a good Thresh as well.
Exactly, but still, even to your point, you know, the Rakan, right? We haven't seen that look from him yet, and how will he slot into that role? I want to move ahead now to our next team fight, though, and this is a TSM win around Baron because we're right following this clip. I turned to you and I was like, I'm pretty sure TSM wins the game now.
Right, I mean, this is a huge play, obviously, because it puts TSM back in the game. Mistake by Smithy there, booting Bjergsen into his entire team.
Little technical glitch. Either way, big team fight there in the Baron River ends up as, I believe, a 4 for,
it gets pretty hairy because
it's a 2-kill trade.
It's 2 kills initially, but then they go to the Baron for TSM, and Immortals contest, and it gets really scrappy. The big thing is that TSM actually gets back in the game. The Gold League gets close to even.
And now they have Baron.
And this is when you and I were saying, like, oh, well, TSM probably wins this game, the better late game team, for sure. And the impressive thing is that, no, Immortals actually continues to outplay them in terms of their team fighting. They have everything start off with Bard picks and all these different things with perfectly timed charms coming from Pobelter, and the coordination was very impressive.
When they don't play scared, that's the big thing, right? It's a single loss team fight, and again, my immediate, thought was, oh no, TSM's got Baron, they've got they're going to have the late game Fiora opportunity. Kobe mentioned that the team fight very strong with that Galio for them. I thought it was all lost. But Immortals, in the face of that adversity there, decides to strike right back, and they're like, no, we're not going to let you dictate the pace of the game. We had Pobelter pick in the bot lane, followed that up with the team fight in the mid lane, played very well by all members of the squad, and they're right back in the game.
And I think, like you said, Pobelter really the guy to point out. He received a lot of help in the early game, going to get player of the game, but
actually, Ole's going to pick up
Ole
player
gets
of the game.
honorable mention for Pobelter.
Boom, honorable mention for Pobelter.
So that's what I guess we are going to give it to Ole for getting Pobelter rolling, because that's what I was going to say. He did receive a lot of help, and that was a lot of that off the back of Ole. And then in that late game, once again, the combination of the two, Ole starts it off with his ultimate, holding people in place, and then Pobelter following up with the well-timed charms.
But I think part of why it's hard to make that decision, and we give the nod to Pobelter while, the award is delivered to Ole, is because each member on this team at some point made a play, right? Again, Smithy getting Flame rolling, but then Ole had a hand in getting Pobelter rolling, but then Pobelter took the advantage that Ole gave him, and he actually turned it in to 1 team fights and big picks. So already on the outset of the season, this Immortals squad is looking good, where we thought it was going to take at least a little bit of time for them to ramp up.
Especially because there was such a difference in the style that we were expecting to see out of them. And it is a different style, but it's working right out of the gate. It's very impressive to see, and you got to hand it a little bit to the players and the coaching staff for coming together and instantly finding something that's going to work for them.
Got to win 2, though, so we'll see.
Not out of the woods yet.
Yeah, Immortals comes out with the first win of the series. We'll see if TSM can tie it up in Game 2. Meet us back here after the break.
Now Smithy
Gone up quite far. Riposte is down from the last attack. The slow is there. He's going to flash forward for the next few. Brings it up. It's first blood. Another challenger enters the fight. It's Pobelter looking for the kill. Haunter's been and diving. One last auto from Pobelter as they have to go.
I'm just zoning. I'm zoning.
Dennis is all dead.
I'm dead.
Don't hit Baron. Don't hit Baron. Don't hit Baron. Hit Baron now. Nice.
Mid tier one. Go.
I'm gonna kick. Galler's not there. Galler's not there.
Oh, it's the pinch in. Double lift taken down immediately. Pobelter's trying to dash out. Since Garen is charging it, chasing the dashes.
Oh! And that's going to be it.
And they say it's our game to be played. You can go for Dragon. We're going to go for the fights. It will give us the Nexus. And Immortals seeing a few steps ahead. Immortals taking game 1 over TSM.